My name is William, and I need to share something with you that I really wish I had understood 40 years ago. You see, I spent my life building a massive company that was eventually worth $500 million. On the outside, I had everything a man could dream of. The huge corner office, a private jet to fly wherever I wanted, and a beautiful house right on the beach. To the rest of the world, I was the ultimate success story. Magazines wrote articles about me, and young business owners used to follow me around, desperate to learn my secrets to getting rich. But here is the truth that nobody knew back then. While I was busy building that huge empire, I was slowly destroying the only things in life that actually mattered. And by the time I finally realized what I was doing, it was far too late to fix most of the damage. I am 76 years old now. My company is gone. I sold it many years ago. The money is still sitting in my bank account, but if I'm being completely honest with you, I would trade every single penny of those millions just to go back in time and do things differently. It doesn't matter how old you are right now. If you are out there grinding every day, working late and telling yourself, just a few more years of hard work and then I'll relax. I need you to listen to my story. I was just like you, and I was wrong about everything. The early days and the big lie. Let me take you back to 1978. I was 30 years old. I had just married my wonderful wife Sarah, and I had started my own business. Everyone around me thought I was making a mistake, but I was determined to prove them wrong. The first 5 years were incredibly hard. I was working 80 or 90 hours every single week. I missed dinners at home, I missed birthdays, and I missed our anniversaries. But Sarah was supportive, or at least that's what I kept telling myself so I wouldn't feel guilty. She would say, "It's okay, William. We are building our future together." And I believed her. I truly believed that once we made it and became rich, everything would be better. I told myself we would have plenty of time for each other then. That was the lie I lived for 20 years. In 1983, our daughter Emma was born. I remember I was actually in the middle of an important board meeting when Sarah went into labor. I made it to the hospital eventually, but I missed the actual birth. I promised myself I would be there for all the other important moments in her life, but I wasn't. I missed her taking her first steps. I missed her first day of school. I missed her soccer games, and I even missed her graduation. I have one memory that still haunts me every night. Emma was about 7 years old. She walked into my home office holding a drawing she had made of our family. She was so proud and excited to show me, but I was on an important conference call. I didn't even look at her. I just held up one finger to tell her to wait a minute. She stood there for maybe 30 seconds, looking at me, and then she quietly walked away. Many years later, I found that same drawing. At the bottom, in her little girl handwriting, she had written, "I love you, Daddy, even though you are always busy." She was only 7. By the time I found that paper, it was too late to fix the relationship. The price of success. By 1995, we had officially made it. The company was worth $50 million. We moved into a huge mansion and finally took a real vacation to Hawaii, our first one in 12 years. I thought to myself, see, all that hard work was worth it. But I didn't realize that something had shifted. Sarah had learned how to build a life completely without me. She had her own friends and her own charity work. Emma was 13 years old, and she barely even spoke to me. I had become a stranger in my own house. I told myself it was just a teenage phase, and that once she went to college we would reconnect. I kept waiting for that magic moment in the future that never actually came. In 2001, Emma went away to Stanford University. I was so proud of her, but when we dropped her off at the dormitory, I watched her hug Sarah for 5 long minutes. When she turned to hug me, it lasted maybe 5 seconds. It felt mechanical, like she was just doing it because she had to. That same year, Sarah asked me for a divorce. After 23 years of marriage, she was done waiting for me to show up. She told me she had been lonely in our marriage for 2 decades. I realized then that I had been married to my company, not to her. I couldn't even argue with her because she was 100% right. The heart attack and the realization. After the divorce, I did what I always did. I worked even harder. The company grew to $500 million. I was featured on the cover of Forbes magazine. People constantly asked me how I became so successful. I never told them the truth that I did it by sacrificing every single person who loved me. In 2009, my body finally gave out. I had a heart attack at the age of 61. I was in my office working late, as usual, when I felt a terrible pain in my chest. I actually had to drive myself to the hospital because there was nobody left for me to call. Sarah had remarried. Emma was living her own life in New York. My assistant only found out the next day when I didn't show up for a meeting. Lying in that hospital bed, hooked up to all those machines, I finally had a moment of total clarity. What was it all for? I had built this massive, successful company, but who was I building it for? Not for Sarah, she was gone. Not for Emma, she had learned how to live without a father. I realized I had built it for my own ego and for an imaginary finish line that just kept moving further away every time I got close to it. Living with the consequences. I sold the company in 2012 and got a huge amount of money. Then I had to face the reality of my life. I was 64 years old with more money than I could ever spend, but I had nobody to spend it with. I tried very hard to reconnect with Emma. I called her every week and flew to New York to see her. But here is the thing about time. You can never make it up. You cannot go back and attend those missed soccer games. Once that time is gone, it is gone forever. Emma is polite to me now. We have lunch sometimes and talk on the phone, but we don't have what other fathers and daughters have. We don't have inside jokes or shared memories. We are pleasant to each other, but we are not close, and I know that is my fault. When she got married 3 years ago, she asked me to walk her down the aisle. I did it, and I was proud. But during the speeches at the reception, she talked only about her mom. She talked about how Sarah had always been there. She thanked me for coming to the wedding as if I were just a guest and not her father. That night, I cried in my hotel room because I realized I had missed the moments that actually mattered. My advice to you, here is what it took me 60 years to learn. Success means absolutely nothing if you are alone. Money means nothing if you have nobody to share it with. Achievements mean nothing if the people you love don't care about them. I see young men today making the exact same mistakes I made. I see them working 80 hours a week and missing dinner with their kids. They all say, just a few more years, once I hit this goal, then I'll focus on family. But that day never happens. There is always another promotion or another deal. The finish line keeps moving. Meanwhile, your children grow up, your marriage falls apart, and you wake up as an old man with a full bank account and a heart full of regrets. If I could go back and talk to my 30-year-old self, here is what I would say. Your company will survive if you leave the office at 5. That meeting can wait until Monday. That email can be answered tomorrow. But your daughter's childhood will not wait. Her soccer game is happening today. Her school play is tonight. Once those moments pass, they are gone forever. Work will always be there. There will always be another project. But the people you love are on a timer, and you don't know when that timer will run out. I have all the money in the world now, but I would trade every single penny for just one more afternoon with Emma when she was 7 years old. I would trade it all to be present instead of always being somewhere else in my mind. Final words. You know what is funny? Nobody at my old company even remembers me anymore. They brought in new management, and within 2 years, it was like I never existed. The deals I worked so hard on, nobody cares. But Emma remembers. She remembers every time I wasn't there. Those memories are permanent. I'm 76 now, living in a condo by the beach. I have a lot of time to think. Success isn't measured in dollars or square footage. It is measured in relationships and love. So, if you are watching this and you are working late again tonight, I am asking you to stop, close your laptop, go home, have dinner with your kids, be present with your spouse, because 20 years from now, you won't remember that report you were writing, but you will definitely remember if you were there for the moments that mattered. Don't tell yourself you'll change tomorrow. Do it today. Time doesn't care about your business plans. It just keeps moving. Don't end up like me, successful, rich, and completely alone. Please leave a comment and tell me what you are going to do differently in your life starting today. If this story touched you, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Now, close your device and go be with the people who actually matter, because, trust me, they matter more than anything else ever will.